we've got some roster moves. The Toronto Scepters have released Claire DeGeorge from her contract with the team, and in a conjunction have signed Della Rovere to a standard player agreement, getting called up from her reserve player spot. DeGeorge has signed with the Sirens to fill the hole that was left by Taylor Gerard being placed in LTIR. There was some talk that they were going to do a trade for future considerations, but I don't think the league is really set up for that kind of deal quite yet. And what has happened with being released and then signing there immediately is basically the same thing, just labeled differently. It's unfortunate for DeGeorge. I think I can understand why she would want out, but according to Elite Prospects, in her 3 seasons and 3 different teams in the P-Dub, on Minnesota, the first season, she only had 1 assist in 23 games. Last year with Montreal, she only had 2 assists in 26 games. And this year with Toronto, she's been pointless through 17. Now, many of those on Toronto at the very least, she didn't actually get to be on the ice. And I noted in, I believe it was the Seattle game they played a few days ago, that she was much more of a defensive player. It seemed like she was more centered around the defending side of the game. So maybe she's not going to be the type of player to put up a crazy amount of points. But either way, it seems like she just wasn't really fitting and working in Toronto. Hopefully she has a good time in New York and she can be what they need to fill the hole from their injuries. I'd love to see her, have a successful career, and hopefully they can give her more opportunities than were really given to her in Toronto. But let's get to the bigger part that us as Scepters fans are more interested in, which is Della Rovere. Now, I had forgotten about this, but Della Rovere actually does have PWHL experience. She played with Ottawa in the first season, before they were even the Charge. She played 9 games with Ottawa and had 1 goal through those 9 games, but unfortunately her season was shortened due to a wrist injury. In the 2024-25 season, she took a year off from the PWHL to play in Italy, so she could become a naturalized citizen and represent them at the Olympics. For the EVB Eagles in the Italian League, through 20 games, she had 22 goals and 26 assists for 48 points. I understand that the Italian League might not necessarily be at the same caliber as North America is, or even somewhere like Sweden or Finland. But even still, that's like over 2 points per game. She had more goals than she had games played and more assists than she had goals. And then through playoff games over there, and 4 playoff games, she had 3 goals. In other words, a very good player, at least in a league overseas. Now, I mentioned she went there to represent Italy at the Olympics, and represent them she did. Through 5 games in the Olympic tournament, she had 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points, which is really good considering Italy isn't necessarily known for its hockey. If I'm not mistaken, she helped Team Italy win their first game in the women's hockey tournament at the Olympics. It's really impressive, and it was really good for her, and I think that is momentum that she has carried through her game, and I think it's something that the coaching staff will have been able to see in practice, because earlier in the season, when there have been injuries to other parts of the roster, Toronto has called up Lauren Messier to fill the forward spot, and now that they have a full-time opening, they're going with Della Rovere. So this is a player I'm really excited to see. I'm curious to see how much we actually get of her, because obviously when DeGeorge was on the ice and when Condis gets put in the lineup occasionally on the back end, when they are that 13th forward or 7th defender, it's not uncommon for us to not really see them play at all under Troy Ryan. But obviously we don't know how Della Rovere fits into the mix of Toronto's roster. She plays center, so that can also really change things up in the way that the players are ordered. Malte has played center a bunch of games this season for Toronto. Maybe having an extra center in the lineup moves her back to wing. I'm excited, though. I'm looking forward to seeing what she brings to the team, what she can bring to the locker room. Toronto has a bit of a role going now since the Olympics. They've gotten a point in every game they've played. Let's hope she can add to that. Let's hope she can, lift the team up. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing her play. That's all I have for you now. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want more. The trade deadline's coming up. That might be something we should keep an eye on.